This is DJ Dr. Chris.
And it's your favorite nurse practitioner, Bree.
Today I'll be talking about why you shouldn't watch TV while eating dinner.
And I'm going to be discussing functional medicine.
And after that, we'll pop open a bottle as soon as she's done driving and see what comes out. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so Bree, we got you driving. So first of all, be careful out there.
Oh, yes. And this is hands-free, everyone. I'm talking through my car, so I'm not looking at the screen or anything.
All right, good. So, do you want to go first or you want me to?
No, you let it go.
Okay. Yeah, maybe you'll get to your location by the time I'm done because I go on and on sometimes. Although this should be probably a bit of a quick topic. So I just took this course called Physiologic Flexibility, a really cool course about homeostasis and all the sort of levers of your body you sort of pull and play with to become more robust. And a lot of this was about, how you can deal with your nervous system. So just a quick overview. I'm talking about the autonomic nervous system. That's sort of the background system that's running. That's what keeps your heart beating. It's what makes you breathe without thinking about it. It's all the sort of automated stuff, right? So we have two divisions of it. We got our sympathetic and then our parasympathetic. So the sympathetic is like the alarm's on, right? So that's the fight or flight. And the parasympathetic is the turning the alarm off or, so the relax and digest portion of the nervous system.
This is what I'm going through right now. I hate bridges, and I am having my sympathetic turn on, and then my para once I get to land. I hate going over bridges. I'm driving to Marathon Key, everybody.
Yes.
So my anxiety is on a level 20.
Driving is a total sympathetic activity, and I'll explain why in a minute. In fact, I've been wearing a glucose monitor for the past month. And one thing I know, so we know stress will spike your blood glucose in a negative way. Basically, because you're in a sympathetic state, your body's going to sort of pull the glucose or really glycogen out of your muscle and put it in your bloodstream so you can have some fuel to get into a fire to run. So there's a reason for it. But anyways, so I've been wearing this glucose monitor for the past month, and every time I drive, and it doesn't even matter if it's like I'm angry or anything, it will spike my blood glucose like crazy. So you're definitely right.
I'm probably on like level 20 right now with that because I literally cannot stand driving over bridges. But
yeah, and we're in season now in Florida, so it's a lot busier. So it's not like you're it's either on or off. So it's kind of a gradient. So you can be like kind of in a sympathetic mode or like full-fledged panting, ready to fight. There's this gradient there, a spectrum. And so, sort of the way society is set up these days, at least for Western society, is very much a sympathetic thing. I talked about this before, how we're really good at applying stress and not really good at applying sort of the recovery or the parasympathetic side of things. So, yeah, there's a lot of different activities. And, your body's like always trying to maintain balance. So even like inhaling is more sympathetic, exhaling is more parasympathetic, but you're kind of doing that all the time. So it kind of stays in balance. But there's little ways you can kind of hack this a little bit. So breathing through your nose in general tends to be more of a sympathetic activity, and breathing through your mouth is more, I said that backwards. Breathing through your nose is parasympathetic. Breathing through your mouth is sympathetic. So just think of someone who's about to be in a fight. They're probably breathing heavily through their mouth or chest breathing, right? Chest breathing is also more sympathetic, whereas belly breathing is more parasympathetic. These are some of the redundancies we have built into our bodies. Anyways, one of the things I learned in this course is that gaze, your vision, is also tied to your nervous system. So if you have a very fixed or narrow gaze, as in looking at a screen or a TV, that's more sympathetic. You're concentrating on something. Whereas if you have more of a wider vision or like a peripheral vision, that's tied more to your parasympathetic state. So that's why like going to the beach and looking at the horizon can be really relaxing, or maybe on a rooftop overlooking a cityscape can be really relaxing because you're using your periphery and it's tied more into that relax and digest system. So yeah, you probably already see where I'm going with this. So if you're sitting there having a meal, but it doesn't have to be dinner, any meal, and you're watching TV, your gaze is fixed and is going to be tied more to a sympathetic activity. And it's not that it's like your digestive system is off, but it's sort of inhibited. So that's the idea. Not to mention that most of what's on TV is purely stimulating, especially if you're watching the news, right? So it's sort of a double whammy there. I mean, I see people, I used to do home health physical therapy. I would go into people's homes and they'd just be screaming at the TV with the news on. So there's no way that's relaxing. Definitely not good for digestion.
Not right now. It probably gives people indigestion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so if you have a meal and you're sitting in front of TV and you get a stomach ache or something like that afterwards, you feel bloated, it's probably because of that. So it's sometimes these little simple things are like, I mean, these are the things we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be like eating amongst people around a fire. That's how we evolved, not like staring at things. So yeah, once again, the further we get from how we evolved, the worse things can get.
I can see that. That's like the whole situation with like there's like a study which I won't get into. Maybe I'll do it another time. How there's a link, or they're trying to study like a link between autism and kids watching TV at a very young age, and how you shouldn't give them tablets or allow them to watch television for a certain amount of time because it could lead to some autistic traits. I need to like dig more into it, but like with my daughter, sometimes the TV is the most saving grace. But I try to limit it to only like 15 minutes a day.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a ton of evidence, lots of really good peer-reviewed evidence that, so we know that the brain and the gut talk to each other. We know that, right? That's why, like, if you're nervous, you feel it in your stomach, you get butterflies, right? These two things go together. So a lot of cognitive issues, a lot of these disorders like autism spectrum, ADHD, these are all heavily tied to gut dysfunction. So it kind of just goes right into what I was just talking about. So they're staring at a TV, they're not able to truly digest. And by the way, what I mean by that is not only is it like bad for the motility of the food, but decreased absorption of nutrients. Right. So, I mean, that's huge. Right? I mean, if you're staring at a phone and you're having a nutritious meal, it's all just passing right through. Not all of it, but most of it's just going to pass through you. You're not getting the nutrients you need. You develop gut dysbiosis, and then maybe that's the linkage. Maybe that's the mechanism between what you're talking about, autism and screen time.
Maybe that's what it is. Yep. I was like, something's going on. So I'll have to look more into that. But yeah, that sounds cool, Chris.
There you go. I thought it was going to be a short one, but I went on and on, like usual. My wife has pointed out to me that I talk way too much, by the way.
I talk a little long, but sometimes being long-winded. I mean, my husband's long-winded. I just think it might be a male trait. Like, just tell me what I need to know so I can know.
Long-winded. Mike is long-winded and repetitive in a fun way.
So I am talking about functional medicine. I'm getting more into the holistic aspect of a lot of things, guys, especially with like our bodies and how we treat people, like, Western medicine compared to Eastern medicine. If I was talking about hormones last week. So this week in your weekly dose of BS, what is functional medicine? Like, what is it? Like, when someone says that to you, like, what does that mean? It's pretty much the systems biologically based approach that focuses on identifying and addressing the root cause of the disease. So instead of just throwing a Band-Aid on something, why is this happening? What can we do to fix this in a more natural way or a healthier way than just giving you a pill?
Right.
So that is pretty much what the definition of functional medicine is. So how does that tie into like the hormone? So as we age, your hormones change and they fluctuate. Women's change usually a lot faster than men's, but everybody's changes. So like last week, I was talking about the different types of testosterone, your estrogen, like homocysteine, cortisol, how vitamin D, your thyroid, all of that plays a part with your hormones and how you feel. So with functional medicine, you dive into that. And then you try to figure out how to fix that naturally instead of just going to the doctor. The doctor's like, oh, you're just old. Oh, you're just overweight. Oh, you just need to change your diet. Sometimes it is that you need to change the diet. Sometimes it is that you're just old. But what can I do to make me feel better? Just don't tell me that. And I don't want to just take another pill. Now, there are different supplements out there that you can take. Like sometimes what we were talking about, like your adrenal gland. Sometimes when you are always in that fight or flight constant state, when you don't have the healthiest diet, or if you're not exercising and producing those natural like endorphins, that causes stress on your body. So then your body is working overtime to fuel itself and to heal itself, because you're in a constant state of inflammation, which, like Dr. Chris said, your gut is like your second brain. And a lot of people didn't think about that as we were like back in the day. They're just like, oh, your brain's the most powerful thing. No, your stomach also is very powerful on how your body reacts to different things, causes inflammation or like your digestive issues. So you have to pay attention to that as well. So with the functional medicine approach, we look at your lab values. We try to give you different supplements to help kind of calm that down. There's like a lot of different supplements for adrenals, like ashwagandha, helps with like focus and feeling foggy and feeling tired. Is you're able to just do a little bit more. So that's why I encourage everyone. I was just on the phone with my friend from back home in Greenville, and how she was feeling certain symptoms like bloating, and she just didn't feel right. And I was like, you need to dive a little deeper. Like most physicians will only cover the baseline. You need to go a little deeper and figure out what is causing these issues. There's a place that actually draws the labs and then actually looks at your labs, and they'll do like your allergies, like what you may be sensitivity to, like respiratory, like goes over celiac disease, some ANA factors, like to see if you have any arthritis, all of that. They'll test for all of that. And then if you have any allergies, you need to cut it out, because that's what causes an inflammation in your body, because you're putting something in your mouth you're not supposed to, which then can help your overall health. So functional medicine is something, like I said, I'm diving into. I'm learning more. There's a conference I'm going to go to help me, like that way I'm able to educate you and other people and myself and my patients in the future, because I can tie it into the traditional medicine that I'm used to practicing and this type of medicine.
I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Well, I want to talk a lot more about that. Do you have any more? Because I want to open a bottle of wine and dive into that, because I have a lot of interest in this topic.
Oh, yeah, we can totally talk more about this. I think that'll be a good idea. However, I'm only 3 miles from my turn. So, guys, we're going to take a quick break. Dr. Chris, I think he has like a commercial he wants to play, but we'll get right back with you.
I usually play the commercials at the end, but that's all right. I'll just put a little pause in the video.
Okay.
Okay, Bree's back, and she's safe. She's no longer driving. Right, Bree?
Yes, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
Okay, so I have opened up a Nobilo Sauvignon Blanc, switching it up.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
Yeah, I love a good Sauvignon Blanc from time to time.
Me too.
By the way, for my anniversary, I made my wife lobster. Well, I did surf and turf, did a tomahawk steak and a lobster, and I made a beer blanc sauce for the lobster. Oh my God, it was amazing.
Oh,
so easy to make
yummy.
too.
Look at you trying to be romantic.
What's that?
So look at you trying to be romantic.
Yeah, try. Well, so I've really like nailed the steak, and I'm pretty good at lobster too. Let me give you all the easiest chef tip on lobster if you're ever going to steam it. So steam it first of all. That's what you got to do. Don't buy it cooked. Buy it whole. They don't scream. That's a myth. So you just put in a few inches of water, boil it, and then and you got to get whole Maine lobster too. This Florida lobster, it's not bad, but this is more of a whole Maine lobster tip. So you boil it until the tail and abdomen separate. Comes out perfect every time that way. Zip.
I don't know if I can do that.
Hi. You put them in the fridge for a while. They're like pretty dormant. They don't scream. They're not like rattling around there. Like they just seem like nothing's facing them at all. They just die.
Oh my gosh. No, I just feel bad. Like I need my food already cooked so that way I don't know that they're dying. Because literally when you have a lobster, the eyes are still moving, their stuff's still moving. And they have nerves. They feel that you're literally bawling it to death.
Yeah, I wonder like what anything with the exoskeleton, how much pain do they feel on their shell? I don't know.
It's not just their shell. You fried their brain, or you boiled their brain.
So I know. I think it's important to be attached to your food. I don't know. If you're gonna eat meat, own it. That's what I think.
I didn't say. I said I just like it already dead. I don't want to know it's dying. I just want to consume it after it's dead.
Yeah. See, I don't think that's right. I think you should.
No.
Hey, what about that for a new segment though? Maybe like little cooking tips. Because I've gotten into cooking a lot lately.
I mean, you can. I'm not trying to cook, but that could be your new segment. You can talk about cooking. Michael will probably pop his head and try to talk about his little Chef Boyardee stuff, and I will just sit back because I'm not the biggest fan of cooking.
Yeah, maybe I won't make it a specific segment, but on the weeks I do something that I think is interesting, I'll do like a meal of the week type of thing. Because I do cook pretty simple. I eat a lot of meat. I just eat a lot of steak.
Oh my gosh.
So, anyways, functional medicine. Let's get back to that because I love that topic. So I was telling you offline that I have just signed up for Chris Kresser's Adapt Functional Medicine Practitioner course. Loving it. I'm only about a month in. It's a year-long course. It's a ton of content, but it's amazing. I think it's going to completely change how I practice and how I think and everything. So I'm super excited about it. In fact,
I'm excited for you. If you're excited, I'm excited.
I just think it's it's the same ethos as what a physical therapist has, because we're all about getting to root cause on a physical level, right? As you know, it's like, is your knee pain really knee pain, or is it really an ankle or hip problem? It's almost always like where the symptom is, you look next door, that's the root cause. And it's kind of the same idea, but just more internal with functional medicine, yeah. Like autoimmune disease is just on the rise like crazy, right? I think things like allergies and food intolerances maybe spark that. But what happens if you go to see a conventional medical practitioner? You'll probably get like prednisone. Say you have, I don't know, like Sjogren's syndrome. Like you're going to just be given prednisone most likely. Whereas the whole idea is like, okay, well, why did that autoimmunity develop? You're probably ingesting something, or you're missing an ingredient. Like vitamin D deficiency is huge with autoimmunity. You're missing something in your diet, and there's ways to fix that. And you can fix, like, just by tackling lifestyle alone, like something like 30 to 40% of problems can go away with just lifestyle. And then you throw in diet. And I mean, you could probably, between diet, maybe some supplements when needed, probably about 80% of problems go away with that. And then the other 20%, if there's like irreversible damage, may need medicine. That's how I see it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't want to say anything bad about conventional medicine. It's amazing. It has a great place. It's just not where all the answers are.
Exactly. I think you should look in, like we talked about. Mm-hmm. It's not just one place. It's a lot of different places. And you just can't just like be like, oh, this is it. I would always dig deeper. I even tell my patients that, like, if I don't know the answer, or if I think I know what it is, get a second opinion. If you're still not sure, it's not going to hurt to talk to someone else.
And get opinions from different practitioners too. I think that's important as well.
Mm-hmm.
Don't just see one MD to the next one. Maybe see a functional medicine practitioner, maybe see a nurse practitioner or a PA. I hate the term PA, by the way. I feel like there's such a disservice to that career, right? Physician's assistant. It sounds like they run coffee, but they are very talented. They know their stuff. I'd almost rather see a PA than an MD, because MDs are so buried in so much work and paperwork. You probably get more time with a PA. It depends on the setting, obviously, but
I was like, it depends on the setting. It depends on the setting. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But I mean, it's just like, I'm trying to figure out how, like, I don't know. That's a whole other topic that I'm not going to touch on right now. But I forgot to tell y'all what I was drinking, because it feels like my ADD is kicking in. I'm drinking a Diet Coke and vodka because, yet again, I'm on another diet. And getting back to the whole, this is why you need to see other people. Like, it may be one thing, it may be something different. You're going to have two different opinions, and then you can figure out which way works best for you, because not every single plan of care is always the best for each individual patient.
Right.
And that is the main thing that I want to get across to people. And that's why functional medicine may help with some people, but not others.
Yeah. Yeah. You really have to manage your own care right now as it stands.
Yeah.
I do wonder, like, next decade or so, are we going to see like AI come in and help manage care? I think that could be interesting where, maybe you put in a set of symptoms, puts in a huge, goes through this huge algorithm and maybe lists all the most likely people, most likely where you can find your answers from, like what type of practitioner. I think that'd be kind of interesting.
Yes.
I think that'd be a really cool place for AI to kind of jump into the picture. I don't know. I might get murdered from some of my colleagues for saying that, but
yeah, I was sitting there thinking, I was like, I don't know if they should jump into the picture completely, but
no, definitely
I see where you're going.
Yeah. But I think physios really have a really good spot with functional medicine. I think that's a really good pairing. And ask me again in a year, you might hear my daughter. She's here, and it's like, "Hi, Sophie." But like I was saying, kind of the thought process by how like a physical therapist goes about solving problems is very similar to how functional medicine operates. Daddy, don't go to the pool today. Let me finish the podcast, okay? Anyways,
hi, Sophie.
She just ran away. She wants to go swimming.
She's like, okay, hurry up, Pops.
Well, so I think there's a book waiting for me to write about like the sort of area between physical therapy and functional medicine. Because, as this podcast has developed and I've gotten more into my career, I've gotten way more into nutrition, way more into, very passionate about like autoimmunity, diabetes, these types of things. And there's so much overlap. And sometimes I find myself picking things up from patients that may have been missed. So, for example, I saw one patient and she came in, she's young, probably 29-ish, and had a stiffness in her back. And I was like, wow, this feels like I felt ankylosing spondylitis before. It feels super stiff. It like doesn't move. And she got an x-ray and sure enough, that's what it was. But then I also noticed like oh wait, I'm kind of telling the story wrong. Her eyes were like really puffy and she was getting cortisone injection in her eyes. And I realized that that's a common feature of ankylosing spondylitis. They tend to get this eye thing going on, plus the stiff back. That was a cue me. Okay, maybe this is ankylosing spondylitis. She got tested, and sure enough, that's what it was.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, which is an autoimmune disease, right? So I gave her some diet changes and some things. I can't say it resolved 100%, but it got better.
But at least it got better. Like something worked.
Right. And maybe so for those that are listeners that don't know what ankylosing spondylitis is, that's where your vertebrae start to fuse together. That's no good. Your bones basically fuse together and you become really stiff. And as far as I know, currently, there's no procedure to reverse that. I don't think they just go and saw the vertebrae apart, but so it does become irreversible at a certain point. But maybe I stopped it in its tracks. I don't know. I hope to.
Well, you don't always know, but at least you tried something, it helped. That person's probably going to have better quality of life now that you recognize it. Not everybody gets that. Some people get told, oh, I don't know what to do. And, oh, well, take some pills.
Yeah. Not to mention she was getting cortisone injections in her eyeballs, like quarterly. How
Isn't
terrible
that crazy?
That sounds? Yeah. I didn't even know that was a thing till she told me about it.
I had to do it one time when I had, I can't remember if I've told y'all this, but I had retina detachments. I probably have because I tell y'all everything. In both eyes. And one time before surgery, I had to get a steroid shot. It's a lot of pressure. It's not the best feeling. They try to numb you up, but it doesn't always work. But yeah, that's a horrible thing to go through.
I feel like they have to put me on like Xanax or something to be able to tolerate
that.
No,
you don't need to be put on Xanax for that.
It just sounds horrible. Oh God. Yeah. Speaking of, I once did a dissection on an eyeball, and I was amazed at how like thick the cornea is. Like it took like a lot of pressure from a scalpel to get through it. It was a sheep's eye, so I don't know if that's.
Oh, that's so nasty. I know, like I can deal with a lot of stuff, but like there's certain things I don't deal well with. And vomit is the number one. I'm not the best person. Somebody vomits, I'll probably vomit along with you. And then gushy stuff, like I can't stand that. Now, other stuff does not bother me at all.
Yeah, I don't like anything mucosal. That's the stuff I don't like. But I'm with you with vomit too. I will do everything in my power to not vomit. I don't think I've vomited in maybe 15, 20 years. Just in case you guys are wondering.
I'm sure they don't care. Oh.
All right. So where are you? What are you doing?
So I am in the Keys for a girls' weekend.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to figure out, like, this is like something that my friend Logan and her friend Jackie put together. It's just I can't remember how long they started planning this trip, but like Logan knows how to plan trips. So the girls are on their way up. I had to work earlier today. So I had to drive down from West Palm, and then they flew in from Tennessee, South Carolina, into the Key West, and then now they're driving up to meet because we're actually in Marathon.
Do you ever feel like you have too many friends? I feel like I've met so many of your girlfriends, and they're just you're always going on a trip with another crew that I don't know. I don't know. You must be going to like birthday parties like every weekend.
That's a lie. Lately, I have been boring and just sitting in the house. But like now, it's more like I gotta get my life together. I do need to get back in the moment and, figure stuff out with like work and like. As of right now, I'm not really working. Some stuff went down at my previous job, so I'm just taking a little break. So.
Some juicy details.
Yeah, everything will not be shared. When I'm ready to share it, I'll share it, but not right now. I need probably like a couple more drinks for that. Right. But yeah, I'm just taking a little break, and but that's why I'm starting to take classes and stuff right now during this break.
Just get another vodka Diet Coke, and yeah.
This is going to take more than just another couple.
By the way, I'm sorry. I love to make fun of the Brazilian accent because my wife's Brazilian. So one of my favorite things they say for Diet Coke is Diet Coke.
Diet Coke.
Diet Coke. That and Internetchi. That's my other favorite one.
Internetchi. Oh my gosh.
They put like an E on a lot of things, and then a lot of times there's a ch instead of a t. So internet becomes Internetchi.
Sorry, hang on.
Yeah.
The girls just texted me and said that they are heading there. So I have to make sure I'm ready. I'm ready for when they get here because I'm going to need to drink more because they are like on level probably 10 and I'm on level 1 because I've been at work and I've been driving. So now I'm like, I need to take some shots to catch up and just not this Diet Coke and vodka.
I've already told you my 4 to 7 rule. Like if you want to have a good time and like not go too crazy and still not ruin your next day, I have a 4 to 7 rule. Right. So if you're out and about and you're having some drinks, 0 is sober, 10 is, stomach being pumped, basically. So you want to kind of maintain a 4 to 7. Once you get to 8, you got to start hydrating, maybe get some food in you. If you get to like a 2 or 3, you're going to get tired. So if you want the night to progress and go on and you want to operate the next day, honestly, 4 to 5, I think is like the right spot.
I feel like that's how I am. I need to be like a 4 to 5. Like I want to be tipsy, but not drunk. Yeah. But then I also don't want to be hungover the next day and not sleepy because I will hit a wall. Like we were in Nashville for a bachelorette and I was like, oh yeah, let's go out. We were going out. We were partying hard. I sat down at the bar and all of a sudden I felt it. It was like, I was like, all right, I'm too gone. Mm-hmm. I can't drink anything else. We need to take me home because I'm about to pass out. And literally as soon as we got home, knocked out. Like my body will go from go, 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 go. It crashes. And like as down. I've gotten older, I've realized my limits. My husband doesn't realize his limits. He's like, go, 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 go until the next morning. Mm-hmm. And then like, if he's sober, he's like, go, I'm dead. Like, he's like how I am drunk.
Yeah. I've definitely noticed that there's like, you have your, what do you call it? You turn into a pumpkin at a certain hour.
I sure do.
A certain hour plus a certain amount of drinks.
Yep.
You just disappear.
It doesn't matter. And there's sometimes it's like, even when we're on vacation, I'm the same way. It's just, I guess, because my body's like, you don't have your child. Go to sleep.
Catch up. Take this
catch
opportunity
up on all the
to
sleep
catch up.
that you missed.
Oh God, it's so hard. The first year is so hard. Oh,
We just got through it. I'm so happy that we made it through. She's sleeping slightly better, but I don't ever think I'm gonna have that sound sleep like I used to before kids. People used to tell me that all the time. I will say my child, Elizabeth, not my child, Elizabeth is really great with naps though. Now, since we've been in school, like her naps are a little different. We're adjusting. We're going from 3 naps to 2 naps a day. Now we're down to 1. But when she takes that nap, let me tell you, she will sleep like 2 to 3 hours. And that is good for mommy.
that's an awesome thing. My daughter does not take naps at all.
Oh, yeah. Elizabeth loves her. She's just like her parents. I mean, Michael will nap. I'm a napper. I'm just like, just a quick nap and I'm good to go.
Are you a light sleeper?
I used to be heavy. I used to sleep like a rock. Now that I'm a mom, I'm a light sleeper.
Yeah, there's got to be something to that, right? I think it's a mom thing. Because there'll be times where Sophie maybe will I feel like she rolls in bed or something. My wife can wake up to that,
Yes, it's crazy. It's just like it's like a switch. It's a switch, and it's just like I used to like sleep through thunderstorms. Didn't even know a thunderstorm had happened. Now, like I'll hear like the dog whimper, and I'm like, whoop, up, wide awake, and then can't go back to sleep.
I literally slept through an earthquake once in California.
I believe it.
How many wives right now are listening to this and like they think that like the husband is full of it, they know the baby's up, right? But they're just pretending to be asleep, right? I get that a lot.
No, see, that's the difference between those are good wives. I hit Michael and say, the baby's up. It's your turn. I'm awake, but I'm just like, I'm not getting out the bed. You can get out the bed.
Yeah, your turn. Yeah, I get the elbow. I used to get the elbow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wrong with that. Dad's got to do his part. I get that. Nothing wrong with that.
Yes, I didn't make this baby alone. That's what I always tell Michael.
Well,
it's two to tango.
My wife's her opinion is like, well, I bore this child, so now it's your turn to do everything.
Yes, I agree with her. I'm on the same page. I'm the last one you need to talk to when it comes to
It's not a complaint. It's just how it is.
Mm-hmm. So, I'm like sitting here looking at my phone about something that I probably will talk about next week about slow metabolism and how can you help jumpstart it or fix it. So that it kind of goes along with the functional medicine and what Dr. Chris talked about today, digestive, and how your stomach has a slow process of digesting something, or if it goes through quickly and you don't have time to absorb all the nutrients. I think all this kind of tying together, Chris. I think it's because we're both going on that functional medicine track.
Yep. Hold on a second, Sophie. Please let me finish. Okay. Yeah. Actually, I was just reading this topic in this functional medicine course. It's super interesting. Well, first of all, it's about SIBO. Do you know what SIBO is? I hadn't even heard of it until recently.
Nope, I have not heard of that.
Small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. Apparently, it's really common. Like taking a course of antibiotics could do this to you because it basically wipes out bacteria, like basically all of them, right?
That's the whole point of antibiotic.
Yeah, and you want like a diverse microbiome of bacteria in your gut. You have your healthy ones,
you
the
need
bad
good
ones.
Yep.
Yeah, but sometimes you can get overrepresentation of some, and it can be bad for you. Sophie, hold on. So, anyways, something that like I was reading about GERD, like so reflux. So apparently, I've always learned that's too much acid, right? Too much acid being produced and take an antacid or a PPI, right? Proton pump inhibitor, things that produce the acid. Well, there's a lot of evidence now saying that there's it's really a low stomach acid problem. So, let me make sure I get this right. So if you have too little stomach acid, it allows, because one of the things it does, stomach acid, it protects you from pathogens and bacteria from the foods you ingest, right? So then you develop an overgrowth of certain types of bacteria in your small intestine, right? And then bacteria produce gas, right? That's why Florida water smells bad, right? Because you got the bacteria eats the minerals in the water and produces sulfide gas. It smells like rotten eggs. So, but the same thing happens in your gut. So if you have an overproduction of the wrong type of bacteria because you've got too little stomach acid, then you get all this increased pressure in your gut area, and that causes the LES, the sphincter of the esophagus, to open up inappropriately, and then any amount of acid in the esophagus is going to be heartburn or reflux. So I thought that was really interesting. because it's kind of opposite of what I had learned.
That is kind of interesting. Maybe we should do a segment on that too. There's just so much that we are diving into. This new type of realm is a lot different from when we first started the podcast. Maybe we should see if we can get some people online with us with the podcast and discuss stuff.
I think that's a great idea.
We could interview some people. So we may have a treat for y'all in the next upcoming weeks about some different things. I know I'm learning. Dr. Chris is learning. There'll be a lot of different things that we're going to talk about soon. Again, don't forget to hit us up on TikTok, Instagram, through email, on the, whatever link you're listening to. Leave us a review, talk to us. We just need to hear from you guys. I know we're kind of MIA, and I will blame myself for that for the most part, but we are back at it. I would love to get back involved with y'all. We have missed y'all. I know I have. This is kind of like an outlet for me. So please give us some information. Let us know what you want us to talk about so we can gather information, because this just helps me stay up to date with stuff and learn different things. And I'm sure Dr. Chris feels the same.
Yeah. I totally, whatever I am inspired by, either with my patients or what I'm learning, I tend to blog on it, then I tend to podcast on it. It's kind of my way of actually learning it better, honestly. So, lately I've been doing a lot more nutrition and, sort of autoimmune type stuff. So a lot of my topics on this podcast can probably be more geared towards that. I'll still hit some orthopedic stuff, and especially if you guys want me to. So email me directly, chris@dynamicnaples.com. I'll put it in the show notes. It's usually in there anyways. If there's a specific, any kind of topic, really, anything orthopedic, anything nutrition-based, or even this functional medicine track that I'm going down, I'm a total nerd. I'll research everything. I'll go down rabbit holes, and I'll show you what I get.
Yay! I'm excited. Whatever. Anyway, well, Dr. Chris, these girls are about to be here. I'm about to check out from mommyhood. Well, not really, because I'm still talking to Michael about everything that she needs to have done this weekend, because I can't. I'm a control freak. But kind of check out from mommyhood and just be Bree again and not Mama Bree. So I'm going to let you go so I can continue to drink and get on their level.
Okay, so Mike's home with Elizabeth right now?
Yeah, Mike's at home with Elizabeth, and his mom is coming to help because she's a great grandma. And then my sister's there as well. Because again, I'm a control freak.
A great grandma, not a great grandma.
No, she's just a wonderful, amazing grandma. But she's her grandma. She does have a great grandma still alive, though. Mom Pat. She's the sweetest lady. We're going to go see her next week when I get back.
Oh, that's cool. Well, I'm going to text Mike right now and see if he wants to come over.
You don't tempt him, because then he will probably say no. But I told him, I was like, you know what? This is my weekend. You can have a boys' weekend when I get back.
All right. I'll hold you to it.
You just have to go somewhere.
I can't
so
come over.
You got to make sure your wife is on board.
I love that every time I come to your house. I'll let you go in a second. You have to basically kick me out.
Yes, because he doesn't know when to leave.
I get talking and I'm having a good time, and you're like, Dr. Chris, leave.
I'm like, or you can stay, but I'm going to bed. Oh.
All right, Bree. Well, you have a good time. Be safe. Try to stay with 4 or 5 out of 10. And have a good time.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
See ya. Why guess when you can test? Do you get hangry or crash after a carb-heavy meal? These could be indicators that there is a dysfunction in your blood glucose regulation. If left unchecked, it can lead to irreversible changes. If you catch it quick enough, you can make diet and lifestyle changes that will get your levels where they need to be. 88% of Americans are pre-diabetic and don't know it. Diabetes underpins many of the pathologies we deal with in this country, such as obesity, high blood pressure, heart disease, and stroke. For some reason, it is rarely screened with your physician, and if they do test for blood glucose, it's usually with an A1C or a fasting glucose, which can sometimes give you a false negative. NutriSense is a company that supplies continuous glucose monitors. We've paired with NutriSense to get you real-time data to see how your physiology responds to glucose. The NutriSense app lets you track your daily activity to see how food, sleep, exercise, and stress impact your glucose. You can log or import this data into the NutriSense app to see the effect on your blood glucose levels as soon as it happens. Use the code DrChris25 for $25 off your order today. Do you have unexplained pain, or do you wonder just how healthy you are? When was the last time you had your blood tested? Blood chemistry analysis is a great tool to stay ahead of any health conditions, and now you can have control of your health with Let's Get Checked. Let's Get Checked is an incredible company that sends blood tests to your home. You can choose from over 30 different tests, whether that's thyroid function, testosterone, micronutrient, cholesterol, or C-reactive protein, which is a marker for inflammation. It is sent to you with free shipping, and you get your results in 2 to 5 days. No physician referral needed. Use the code DPT25 for 25% off. You can find links in the show notes.